How's it going, rednecks? Today I'm going to be working on kind of a smaller project, not something that's necessary to do to your vehicle, but I kind of like customizing my vehicle and making it my own. So today we are going to be upgrading the disaster transports cluster from this to this. And the main reason for the new cluster is for this guy right here. I don't know if any of you guys seen one of my last videos. We were up at Silver Lake with the Baja Bourbon number 2, and my buddy actually burned up the transmission in his truck, and we're pretty sure it overheated. So this little gauge right here will be quite handy. And the project we're going to be doing, if you take a look, these needles are pretty sun faded. The ones over here are kind of a nicer bright orange, but over here not so much. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint the needles, and it's something I did a long time ago in my Tahoe over there. Why don't we hop in there and I'll give you a little showing of what that looks like. So here in my Tahoe, let me step up in. You'll see my gauges, they are all white, and when I turn on my headlights I have blue LEDs, so all the needles light up blue. You're just going to take my word for it, it's pretty dark in here. And if we start it up, now I gotta tell you, I did these needles probably 11 years ago, and as you can see, they are holding up quite well. They look nice. And like I said, it's a small little custom thing you can do to make your vehicle your own, so it's not gonna take me long. Let me get out the tools and I'll show you what you're gonna need. Alright, over here at the toolbox, the only tools you're gonna need once your cluster is out is a screwdriver, a plastic pry bar to get the needles off because you don't want to damage the back behind the needles, and then a paint color of your choice. And on this one, it's real easy. All I got to do is undo these clips here, and this whole faceplate will come off. So I'm going to get you guys set up on the stand, and we'll start tearing this thing apart, and you'll see how easy it really is. Whoa! Before you go using this thing to pop your needles off, we need to plug this thing in because we need to make sure that we can set this back to its factory position where all the needles are supposed to be. So let's go back to the truck, plug this thing in, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, with the cluster plugged in, key off, you can see I can just move these needles wherever I want, and they'll stay for the most part. Which isn't a good thing, because if I were to pop this one off, let's say, and in the process of doing the needles or something, I forget where this one is, I am going to have a hard time finding the proper location for it. So what we're going to do is now I'm going to key it on. You're going to see all the needles jump to like a neutral position. So for instance, you can see this one is right at 0, and if I try to move it up, it moves to 0. If I try to move it down, it moves to 0. Same with your speedometer. Now the ones you're going to have to pay attention to are your oil pressure, which is 0. You have to know how much fuel is in your tank, because if you have a full tank of gas, it's going to want to stay at the full position. As well as your voltmeter. If you want to zero this thing in, what you could do, if you want it standing straight up and down, and which is something I'm going to do, is I'm going to start the vehicle. And now your charging system is going, and I want this needle vertical, and as you can see, I've already done that to demonstrate it. Typically a needle will be pointed somewhere like that when running, but I want it vertical. Same with your coolant temp sensor. Make sure your vehicle's not warm when you plug this one in, or when you do it, because right now you can see where it's sitting. If I put it in that position when the vehicle's warm, it's going to be up there, and you're going to plug it in, then you're going to start it up, and it's going to go like that. So with knowing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to key on the vehicle, and I'm going to pull each and every one of these ones off. Alright, with all the needles off, I want to take a moment to show you something that's important. See how this is clear? You can kind of see through it. Well, not all needles are clear. This one is just painted on the bottom, and it looks like it's painted on the top, but that's just reflecting orange from the bottom side, so it's technically painted orange and then painted white over. So if you have a solid one that's not clear from the side, then you won't be able to do this. But we're lucky, ours are clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sand off the white and then the orange, and then I'm going to paint them a different color. And the reason I'm taking apart my old one right now is I want to use these ones as test subjects before I start doing those ones. So yeah, let's get the back of them paint cleared off, and then I'll catch back up with you. Alright, so I tried 3 methods just to see which one would work best. I tried aircraft remover, which, as you can see, damaged the plastic, so that is no good. Then I moved it down to some stripping gel, and that once again did a little bit of damage to the plastic. And then I used a razor blade, which is how I did the ones in my Tahoe years ago, and it works the best. All I end up doing is taking the razor blade and holding it vertically, pushing down and scraping away, push down, scrape away, and I repeat that process about 30 times. And as you can see, that thing is still crystal clear, unlike the ones that had stripping gel on them. So we're going to do that to these two, and then I'm going to show you the 2 colors that I'm going to be deciding against. Alright, Rednecks, I have 2 needles right now taped up, and I used Scotch-Brite 3M, and I'm going to have to admit this is going to be the most time-consuming part of the project, but the 2 colors I'm going to try is going to be a burnt copper and a Chevy red orange. So let's see what they look like. I'm going to get them painted up, and you're only trying to paint the back side, the side that was painted white and orange. So yeah, let's get a layer of each one of them on each one of these needles here, and we'll see what they look like popped in the gauge. Man, oh man, Rednecks, I wanted that copper orange to work so bad, but as you can tell, it's not nearly as nice as the orange. It's not as brilliant. And I even took the orange one out and painted the tip copper orange, hoping that it would look a little better. But I think we're going to be sticking with the Chevy orange red. So let's get the other cluster apart and pop the needles out. Alright, Rednecks, the Chevy orange wasn't doing it for me. It looked too factory. The burnt copper really wasn't doing it either. So I went out and bought a color that's going to represent a small milestone for my channel. And that's right, it's green. Now, I don't know if any of you've noticed, but recently I hit 1,000 subscribers. It's taken me over 2 years to get here, and I am finally getting paid, and it feels good. So I want to say thank you to all you who are subscribed, and a special thanks to all you who keep commenting and who do comment, because it's kind of a rarity for this channel, and I quite enjoy seeing it. So without further ado, this is what we're looking at. Yeah, every time I look at this dash, I'm going to remember you guys and 1,000 subscribers. There's somebody else I would like to say thanks to. He's over here running amok. Come here, Ratchy. Ratchet, come here. Come here, you gotta say hi to your subscribers. You bark, say thank you, bark. Bark, bark. Not sneeze. You're sneezing. You gotta bark at them. Bark. Bark. Good boy. Yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And here's to 1,000 more. Well, rednecks, it just so happens that I have 2 of these clusters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pan back and forth between the 2 of them, and it'll kind of like be a before and after. And you're going to be impressed. I'm happy with how this turned out, and I love that it's going to be a reminder of my 1,000 subscriber mark. So yeah, here you go. Now that looks good. That looks way better than the original, and I have to say it looks probably better than the orange or dark copper we were going to paint it. And on top of that, it's a great reminder of my 1,000 subscriber mark. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Then get back to work. There's a guy over here who wants to say thank you too, but he's kind of running amok and hiding. Ratchet, come here and say thank you. Sit. Sit. You sit. We're gonna play this game again? Sit. You bark. Bark. No, you didn't bark. Sit, Ratchet. No, sit. Bark. Bark. Ah, good boy. There you go, guys. Yeah, thanks again.